We've been conditioned to believe that change demands effort, that transformation comes from relentless striving, fixing, improving. But what if the very act of trying is what keeps everything stuck? What if your next breakthrough isn't about doing more, but about doing nothing differently, staying still long enough for life to reveal its own rhythm? There's a sacred intelligence that moves through everything, guiding, aligning, unfolding. Yet most people miss it, drowning in constant motion and self-improvement. They think control equals progress, but all it truly creates is resistance. The moment you stop fighting the current, you begin to float in alignment with it. This isn't laziness, it's trust. It's learning the art of non-interference, where your energy becomes the magnet, not your effort. When you stop manipulating outcomes, you start witnessing divine order rearrange your reality. So pause, don't change a thing. Don't chase, fix, or prove. Just observe. Let stillness do what struggle never could. And watch how everything begins to fall perfectly into place. Stay until the end. The final truth may completely rewire how you see progress. 1. You've been trained to force what was always flowing. From birth, you were taught that effort equals worth, that the harder you push, the more you'll achieve. That control is strength, and surrender is weakness. But what if everything you've been forcing was always meant to flow on its own? What if your obsession with making things happen has been blocking the very things trying to find you? We live in a world addicted to effort. Keep grinding, they say. Never stop. But that constant movement often comes from fear. Fear of being left behind, of losing control, of not being enough unless something is always happening. So you chase, you fix, you force, and call it ambition. Yet deep down, you know it's exhaustion. When you're constantly trying to manipulate life into working, you forget that life already knows how to work. Flowers don't hustle to bloom. Rivers don't struggle to reach the sea. They move because flow is their nature, and you, beneath all the conditioning, are no different. The universe doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to alignment. When your energy is chaotic, you attract resistance. But when you slow down, when you stop grasping and start trusting, something miraculous happens. Everything begins to rearrange itself for you. The job you've been chasing suddenly appears through a chance encounter. The relationship you've been clinging to falls away, making room for peace. The problem you couldn't solve unravels naturally once you stop obsessing over it. Because force was never power. Flow was. Doing less doesn't mean caring less. It means trusting more. It means believing that life is intelligent enough to carry you without your constant supervision. You are not the architect of the universe. You're a participant in its rhythm. The moment you stop trying to control every detail, you align with the greater order that's been guiding you all along. And that's when you finally realize the river was never against you. You were just swimming upstream. Let go. Stop forcing what's already flowing. Life isn't asking you to do more. It's asking you to allow. 2. Stillness is the highest form of action. The world celebrates movement, constant motion, constant noise. You're praised for being busy, admired for multitasking, and rewarded for exhaustion. But stillness is treated like failure, a sign that you've stopped trying, stopped caring, stopped progressing. Yet in truth, stillness is the most powerful movement there is. It's where everything real begins. You see, chaos disguises itself as productivity. When you're always in motion, you feel like you're accomplishing something, but most of the time, you're just circling the same space, avoiding silence, avoiding self. The noise gives you the illusion of control, while the stillness threatens to expose how little you actually have to do. But stillness is not emptiness, it's awareness. It's the quiet space where life whispers its next instruction. It's the pause between breaths where intuition awakens. It's where clarity replaces the fog of forced decisions. The awakened understand this truth: nothing created from panic lasts. The decisions born in desperation always lead back to confusion. But the actions that arise from stillness, those are divine. They're guided, precise, and powerful because they don't come from fear. They come from presence. In stillness, you stop chasing outcomes and start tuning into alignment. You begin to feel what wants to unfold through you rather than what you think you must control. The next step reveals itself naturally, not because you planned it, but because you finally got quiet enough to hear it. Think of stillness as a bow drawn before the arrow is released. To an untrained eye, it looks like an action. But in that pause, energy gathers, focus sharpens, direction becomes clear. When the arrow finally flies, it moves effortlessly, powerfully, and with purpose. That's what stillness does for you. It recalibrates your energy. It transforms scattered effort into precise creation. The universe doesn't rush, it expands. So if you find yourself in a season of stillness, don't mistake it for stagnation. Don't panic because nothing seems to be happening. In truth, everything is happening. The soil of your life is rearranging itself. The roots are growing where the eye can't see. Stillness is not the absence of progress, it's the source of it. It's where divine timing is prepared. So pause, breathe, let the noise settle until the truth surfaces on its own. Because when you learn to move from stillness, you never act out of fear again. Every motion becomes sacred, every choice precise, every result inevitable. 3. The universe doesn't respond to effort, it responds to energy. You've been taught to work harder, move faster, and earn your place in the world. You've been told that success is the result of relentless effort, that if you just push a little more, strive a little longer, everything you want will finally arrive. But the universe doesn't respond to effort. It responds to energy. This is the quiet truth that most people never learn. You can act endlessly, but if your energy is rooted in desperation, fear, or lack, you'll keep attracting situations that mirror those frequencies. You won't get what you want. You'll get what you are. You can't chase peace while vibrating chaos. You can't attract abundance while carrying scarcity in your heart. You can't manifest love while radiating unworthiness. The universe doesn't read your intentions. It reads your vibration. Think of it like tuning a radio. If you're broadcasting static, worry, tension, pressure, the frequency you desire can't reach you, even though it's already in the air. The music you long to hear is there, but you're not tuned to it. So you struggle, thinking you need to try harder, when really you just need to align deeper. When you embody the energy of what you seek, the external world has no choice but to mirror it. It's not a reward. It's resonance. A calm mind attracts clarity. A grateful heart attracts abundance. A grounded spirit attracts peace. That's the real law of attraction. not mental visualization, but energetic embodiment. So stop asking the universe to deliver what your vibration constantly rejects. Stop trying to manifest love while resenting your solitude. Stop praying for opportunity while doubting your readiness. The frequency of desire and the frequency of doubt can't coexist. One cancels out the other. You don't have to do more to receive. You have to become more aligned, because energy doesn't lie. The world bends not to your words, but to your state of being. When you stop chasing, your energy stabilizes. The fear that fuels effort dissolves. You start moving not from lack, but from overflow, from the inner knowing that what's meant for you already exists, waiting for your alignment, not your exhaustion. And that's when everything changes. Opportunities that once slipped through your hands now appear effortlessly. The people who resonate with your peace find their way to you. Life becomes magnetic, not because you're forcing it, but because you're finally vibrating in harmony with it. So before you rush into another plan, pause. Ask yourself, what energy am I bringing into this moment? Is it fear, control, impatience, or is it trust, gratitude, and quiet confidence? Because the universe doesn't respond to how hard you try, it responds to how fully you believe. The secret isn't doing more, it's being more of what you already are, calm, capable, whole, complete. When you live from that truth, effort becomes irrelevant. Life starts moving through you, not against you. And suddenly, everything you once chased begins to chase you. 4. Surrender isn't weakness, it's mastery. You were raised to believe that control equals strength, that those who plan, push, and dominate their circumstances are the ones who win. You were taught to grip tighter when life feels uncertain, to resist what you can't predict, to force what doesn't flow. But control is the ego's addiction. It disguises itself as responsibility, when in truth, it's fear wearing armor. The more you try to control life, the more life resists you, not because it's cruel, but because it's wise. Surrender isn't weakness, it's mastery. It's the point where your soul finally realizes that forcing outcomes only creates friction, that the universe doesn't obey commands, it responds to coherence. Surrender is not giving up, it's stepping aside. It's allowing divine intelligence to take the lead in the dance it choreographed long before you arrived. Most people mistake surrender for passivity. They think it means doing nothing, caring less, or abandoning effort. But true surrender is active awareness. It's the quiet alignment between your will and the greater will. It's saying, I'll move when guided, not when panicked. When you live in surrender, you no longer fight time, people, or circumstance. You start noticing patterns instead of forcing results. You start flowing instead of chasing. And ironically, everything begins to fall into place. Not through manipulation, but through momentum. Surrender is the art of non-resistance. Imagine trying to hold back the ocean with your hands. That's what control feels like. Exhausting, futile, endless. But when you release your grip and learn to ride the current, the same water that once drowned you begins to carry you home. True power doesn't roar. It allows. It trusts that every delay, detour, and downfall is divine timing in disguise. It knows that what's meant for you cannot be taken, and what leaves was never yours to hold. Surrender also exposes the deepest illusion, that you were ever in control. Look closely. The heart beats without permission, the sun rises without command. Your next breath arrives without thought. Life has been happening for you all along. The only thing you ever needed to manage was your resistance to it. When you stop forcing life to meet your timeline, you start experiencing life as it truly is, intelligent, mysterious, and benevolent. You begin to see synchronicities everywhere. You meet the right people without chasing them. You arrive at opportunities that feel predestined. That's the paradox of surrender. The moment you let go, everything aligns. It takes far more courage to trust the unseen than to cling to the visible. Anyone can fight for control. Only the wise can stand still and say, I trust this too. So let the ego call it weakness. Let the world call it passivity. Those who live in control are exhausted. Those who live in surrender are magnetic. Because mastery isn't about bending the world to your will. It's about harmonizing with the will that created the world. When you understand that every fall becomes flight, every ending becomes initiation, and every loss becomes liberation, let go, let it unfold. Not because you're powerless, but because you're finally powerful enough not to need control. 5. The miracle happens when you stop trying to make one. You've been conditioned to chase miracles, to treat them like prizes reserved for the most deserving or disciplined. You've been taught that manifestation requires constant focus, that prayer must come with pressure, that you must do something to make the extraordinary appear. But miracles don't respond to effort. They respond to openness. You can't force a flower to bloom faster by pulling on its petals. You can't command divine timing. You can only create the right conditions for life to unfold through you. The miracle was never about control. It was about allowing. When you stop trying to make a miracle happen, you stop interfering with what's already trying to find its way to you. You release the invisible tension that says, it's not enough yet. I must do more, push harder, prove myself. And in that release, space opens, space for divine orchestration to breathe. The universe is always moving toward harmony. Always. The problem is, most people interrupt that process with fear. They worry, rush, overthink, and in doing so, create resistance. Imagine a river trying to deliver you exactly where you need to go, but you keep splashing, panicking, fighting the current. The moment you stop struggling, the current carries you effortlessly. That's how miracles work. They don't happen because you chase them. They happen when you finally get out of your own way. The universe is intelligent. It knows the rhythm of your unfolding better than your plans ever could. It knows when you're ready for something, even if your mind doesn't. So when things feel delayed, it's not punishment, it's preparation. When doors close, it's not rejection, it's redirection. And when you finally stop trying to manipulate outcomes, the very thing you've been praying for quietly appears. The irony is that surrendering your need to make miracles is what invites them in. The less you interfere, the more life reveals how supported you've always been. Synchronicities start appearing everywhere. People show up at the right time. Opportunities align with uncanny precision. And problems resolve themselves in ways you couldn't have planned. What once required struggle now unfolds with grace. Because the divine doesn't need your pressure, it needs your presence. When you trust fully, you become a vessel rather than an architect. You stop demanding outcomes and start witnessing creation. you stop asking, "How will it happen?" and start knowing, of course it will. That's when life begins to move through you like music, effortlessly guided by a rhythm greater than thought. The miracle isn't an event, it's a state of consciousness. It happens every time you release control, every time you soften into faith, every time you choose peace instead of panic. When you stop trying to make life happen, life finally has room to surprise you. So breathe, step back. The divine doesn't need convincing. It doesn't need your intensity or strategy. It needs your trust. Because the moment you stop chasing the miracle, you realize it was never missing. It was always waiting for you to slow down enough to see it. The miracle was never out there. It was in the stillness, in the surrender, in the quiet knowing that everything has always been unfolding exactly as it should.